Hello, everybody. This is Leonard de Guzman, a co-host of the Life After D podcast. I'm here with divorce attorney Emily Robinson, and we're here. It's May 20th, 2020. Things are starting to open a little bit here in Los Angeles. What's the word, Emily?
Yeah, we're hearing that the courts will hopefully open next month and we can get back to, a little more normalcy, but it's not going to be probably business as usual. There might be a lot of digital hearings and, things like that. But at least things are moving forward and lots of other things are opening. So that's good. I'm in Ventura County and LA County. So it seems like more is open in Ventura, but LA seems to be following and trying to open stuff up.
Yeah, I did a bad job of opening the show. So what we do on this podcast is we go over topics about life after divorce, we go over things, several topics. Like right now, we're gonna go over the news. Okay, so let's see what we could find.
Might be scary.
Yeah, there's always news is always about celebrities, right? So you remember the show Full House?
Yeah, I love that show as a kid.
Yeah, you remember Michelle? Michelle on the show. Her real name is Mary Kate Olsen.
Oh, yeah, Mary Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, they were twins. So okay, here's the headline. Mary Kate Olsen wanted to file sooner for divorce from Oliver Sarkozy.
Oh no!
Yeah,
he's like 20 years older than she is.
Yeah, so she's 33 now. Okay, so here's the details of it. Let's see, again, all these ads that keep coming up and just ruining my screen. As revealed exclusively in the new issue of Us Weekly, the 33-year-old fashion designer wanted to file for divorce from Sarkozy, 50, earlier, but was forced to lodge an emergency petition amid the coronavirus pandemic. Us confirmed on May 14th that a judge rejected her petition. The former couple are currently at odds over their New York City apartment, while Sarkozy wanted Olsen out of the apartment as soon as possible. The Full House alum claims she is not allowed to go in and out of the building amid the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, so let's break this down. So there's an emergency petition. How does this all work?
Well, it's different, I think that you said it was New York, so it might be a little bit different here. But here in California, you can only get an emergency if there's some type of domestic violence right now. There are other emergencies, but they're very limited, and there would not be any emergency divorce filing unless there's a big custody issue going on. Someone's trying to take the children out of California or something. But so here, to do that, you would probably need some kind of domestic violence and to get some type of restraining order. So that may be what she did, is get some type of restraining order. I don't know, in New York it may be different, but the courts are very limited right now, and the only things you can do are emergencies. So if there was physical violence or any type of emotional abuse that was severe enough, that you could prove it to the court, then that is how you would get an emergency order to get somebody out of the house.
Okay, so it makes sense. The judge rejected it, probably because, it's not an emergency, obviously.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And typically that would be rejected unless you can show that there's some kind of emergency. The celebrities have to follow the same rules as the rest of us.
Okay, we got more celebrity news. So Jamie King files for divorce. Husband speaks out. Let's see. Well, let's read it. His spokesperson tells TMZ Kyle was deeply saddened by James' attempt to obtain court orders based solely on false claims without providing him any opportunity to respond. As a result, he was extremely pleased that the judge nevertheless permitted children to remain in his care. The statement continues as Kyle continues to solo parent as he has done throughout this pandemic. He remains entirely focused on putting the children's stability and welfare first. Kyle wants nothing but the best for his whole family and hopes that Jamie can find the peace and help she needs. So this is kind of weird because as far as like restraining orders, I mean, how common is that? Like, in so you would get a restraining order for how does this all work?
Yeah, so I mean, restraining orders are asked for frequently. With a temporary restraining order, it is granted pretty much very easily because it's documents that are handed to the court that say this is an emergency situation. I need this person restrained right now. And the court does not have the time or the resources to look into that. So out of an abundance of caution, they will typically grant those, not always, but typically, for the most part. And they would then, set a hearing 3 weeks later for the permanent restraining order, which would be longer than 3 weeks. And for that hearing, they would hear the actual evidence and determine if the person really needs a restraining order. So I would say that the temporary restraining order is frequently granted, but the permanent restraining orders definitely require a lot of proof to get. So those aren't granted as easily. And, they actually need to prove that the person really did threaten them or there was some type of domestic violence. A lot of people file for restraining orders because that gives them a leg up in custody litigation. And if they are granted the restraining order, then it's basically implying that the other person was violent, and that can help them get more custody of the kids. So it's a tactic frequently used for that, but judges know that, so they keep an eye out for that.
Okay. According to MarketWatch.com, 5 common financial mistakes women make during divorce. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. At a time in one's life that should be their golden years, women over 65 are 80% more likely than men to live at or below the poverty line, 9% as compared to 5%. One reason for this divorce. So how could women achieve a better financial resolution after divorce? Here are 5 common mistakes to avoid. Waiting to consult a financial expert. That's number 1. Number 2, underestimating your liquidity needs. Number 3, letting emotions take over. Number 4, failing to properly ensure what you're owed in the future. Number 5, not accepting your new normal. So how does this all play out? Like, because this is, it seems to be a common thing for women.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And, it is important to get advice early on in the case. A lot of people wait to hire lawyers or CPAs or get financial advice because they're concerned about what that's going to cost. And while that's a very, very valid concern, probably people that come to me after the fact to fix what they have done on their own before ends up costing them more than if they had just started with the appropriate professionals in the first place. So, there's many different ways you can use professionals. You don't have to pay each of them thousands of dollars for tons of advice, but it's important to at least get the bare minimum advice so that you can make smart decisions. And you should do that early on in the case, because if you don't, it could be too late. And then you need to pay someone to fix it. And it's not always fixable. But if it is, it probably costs a lot more to fix it than it does to have done it right in the first place.
Okay. Oh, here's something interesting. Something from online. My son opened up about a secret. My oldest son and I like to go on walks. He's about 11 now and decided during one of them last week to open up on a secret he's been keeping for 2 years. At first, I thought it was going to be something silly. He likes a girl or something, maybe. He stole some money from me, nothing damaging. He told me that his mother and her now husband were having an affair 2 years ago, that he was married and seeing his mom at the same time. My son was on her phone and he was messaging her, and my son read everything. I knew about her affair with this guy. He doesn't know that his mom cheated on me before, and I didn't tell him because there was no need for some reason, though I think he might actually know. I'm not sure how I should handle this. I told him that he might understand more as he gets older. As adults, we all make mistakes. However, when he sees his mother act the way she does and doesn't care about the people she hurts, I can see how now that their relationship is going to get pretty bad as time goes on.
Mm. Yeah, that's a sad situation. I mean, that's where the appropriate professional would probably be a therapist for the child. The child needs somebody to talk to sort out, the emotions that they're going through. That's a tough situation, but I think, certainly the parents should get therapy too to figure out the best way to handle what's going on and how to talk to their son. Unfortunately, a lot of times kids mix up the parents having problems with thinking that the parents don't care about them, or that they cause the problem somehow, and that's all stuff that a therapist could really help with. And then, of course, while it's really hard, the parent who was cheated on's reaction matters a lot too. The way they react can teach the child how to deal with things productively, or how to deal with things, in an angry way. And from what you read, it sounds like the parent's dealing with it really well. But it's hard. We're all human. And it's really hard to put the children first sometimes, especially when you've been really hurt emotionally. But that's why, mental health professionals can really help. And you would still want to continue to see them after the divorce too, because these things don't just go away. Maybe the legal paperwork's done, but that doesn't make all the pain and the hurt and the emotion go away.
Yeah, and for parents, make sure you put a good password on your phone so your kids don't get into your text
Yes.
messages.
Believe it or not, I have had plenty of cases where kids have found things on their parents' phones that are inappropriate, and it's led to a lot of problems. And also, the parents find things on each other's phones too. So if you're going to leave your phone out or your laptop on, expect that probably someone might see what you've got on there.
Okay, next post. Has anyone else experienced post-divorce relationship struggle? 35-year-old female, separated from husband 4 years ago. Divorce was finalized 3 years ago. We didn't have any kids, but we were together for a long time, 16 years, and owned a business together. It was incredibly traumatic, and I'm still trying to recover fully. It took me a while before I felt okay to date. I'm in a new relationship now with a 28-year-old male, and I'm trying to adjust to modern dating and being with someone new. And after having a lifelong partner for so long, I can't help but feel that this relationship is somewhat immature, for a lack of a better word. Our schedules are so different that I don't see him very often, and he is against moving in together. The closer relationship I experienced, I have to do with was when I had a boyfriend in high school and I only saw him a few times a week. Am I being realistic? Does anyone have any similar experience or advice they'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, divorce is a trauma just like anything else. And any traumatic event in your life is not just going to go away. And many people experience post-divorce trauma. I mean, there's actual post-traumatic stress disorder that some people do develop, and you develop that, you hear about it a lot with people that have been in wars. And there's also just dealing with depression and trauma from a big life event. And I see it a lot, and I think it takes time to get over it, and you have to give yourself that time and get the appropriate help. And even, let's see, I graduated law school 15 years ago, and it was really traumatic experience. I still have dreams that I forgot to study for a final exam, or I'm sitting there ready to take a test and I forgot to ever go to class. I mean, like, anything that makes an impact on your life that has scarred you emotionally for whatever reason, it's gonna last, and it may last for a long time. So definitely getting the appropriate help is really important. You're not alone. There are many people out there. I mean, look how many divorce boards we've found questions on online. There's so much out there, so many resources. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people and talk, because there are definitely people going through the same stuff.
Yeah, or else if like you're not happy with who you're dating, you just always like swipe right. Yeah, there's a lot of
There you
options
go.
now.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
come on.
And don't expect that your new relationship is gonna, equal your marriage. Like, you need some time to get back out there and, like, meet people, have fun, feel things out. You don't need to just be a serial monogamous. Like, enjoy life and meet a lot of people. Take this opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to custody question. Hey everyone. So last week we had a mediation, court ordered, and couldn't agree to terms, mainly because of custody. Please tell me if I'm being unreasonable or why this doesn't just make sense. To start off, I work Wednesday night through Friday night every week. I work every other Saturday. I requested and 8-6 custody, and that is what our temporary orders are. Let's see. Skip through here. Here's a kicker. She wants a 3-hour right of first refusal. So technically, she would have to offer him to be with me every first every Sunday. I don't have him, even though we have a 4-hour right of first refusal now, and she hasn't followed it even once. Does this make sense to anyone? I just think it's ridiculous that now we have to go to trial because she wants the one extra day when she's at work for 10 hours anyways.
So look, it takes two people to go to trial, right? So there's some very valid concerns and points in there, but it takes two people to go to trial. As he said, they're arguing over one day. So it's not just one person arguing, it's both people arguing. So you need to be able to find a compromise that will work for both people. And usually there's some underlying concern that maybe is not being addressed or spoken. Like, the real reason she wants the extra day is because she wants to have just more than 50% custody, so she can say she's the primary parent. Or maybe it's that she just wants that little extra bit of child support that she gets from the extra time. Or maybe it's that he doesn't really know what her schedule is, and she, that's the day that she sees her new boyfriend and she wants the child to spend time with the new boyfriend. There's so many things it could be, and this is the biggest problem that we have, is that people aren't communicating. Like, what is the real deep down reason that she wants that extra day? And once that's addressed, usually that can pave a way to settlement, because it may be something that's really simple to adjust and make it work. Right of first refusals are tricky. Some people love them and some people hate them. For parents that don't get along at all, they're tough, because you would rather have the child spend time with their grandparents or their cousins or whoever, than the other parents. And so you might not like a right of first refusal. But what is nice about it is the child is going to spend more time with the parents, because if you're not available to be with the child, then they'll be with the other parents during that time. And that's really nice for the child. You can always have relatives spend time with the child on your own custodial time as well. So right of first refusals can cause problems, but they can also be really nice for the kids to get to spend more time with both parents.
That's good. Good advice, Emily.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have today. It seemed like it went a little fast today. Faster in my
I know
head.
it does. What's behind you? I couldn't tell what that is.
So my screensaver, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones. This is like the Iron Throne.
Oh, I see now. Yeah, you're just
It's
in
like
the middle of it, so I couldn't tell.
yeah.
I see. Oh, awesome. I
Yeah,
thought it was some kind of animal because it had like the glowing eye.
yeah, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. You know,
I'll admit I have not watched it yet. I really need to put that on my binge watching list.
yeah, it's one of those things I think I've recommended to people, and once they get like 1 or 2 episodes in, they're just hooked. Now you can watch like all, I think 8 seasons. So yeah.
That's one nice thing about this quarantine is there's more binge watching time of, getting through entire shows that you wouldn't get through otherwise.
Yeah, and then you could binge podcasts like this.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like I think the news for podcasts today is like Joe Rogan signed $100 million deal with Spotify.
Oh my goodness.
So if he
Wow.
could give like 1% of that, like over here.
Right? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So do you have any last advice before we end the show to listeners?
Just hang in there. I have seen with many people now that we're, a little more than 2 months of quarantine, people are going a little bit nuts. Attitudes are getting higher and hotter. It's tension is spiking. So do your best to do whatever you can to keep yourself calm and collected, and we will get through this.
Yeah, or else there's like going to be a baby boom too. So
well, yeah, that probably will happen. That's positive. That's a positive. Lots of new babies.
Okay, so make sure to tune in next week. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.